Hello folks and welcome to Music Alerts, where I tell you what physical music product I've received this week. Now normally I give you a blend of CDs and vinyl, but there's no CDs this time folks. What I have got for you is a mixture of vinyl and, for the first time ever, books. So let's start with books. And firstly from Omnibus Press is Whatever Happened to Slade? Subtitled When the Whole World Went Crazy, spelt in Slade's own inimitable style, author Darren Easley has scribbled 462 pages, and that's what £25 will buy you. The book itself tracks the band's career, but also looks at what happened after the band split in the 90s, kind of post-Slade, you might say. There's a lot to get through here. For example, there was the near-death experience in 1973 of drummer Don Powell, who managed to smash up his Bentley and was probably saved from death by two passing nurses who kept him alive until the ambulance arrived. Even so, Powell was in a coma for 6 days. His heart stopped beating twice. The doctor drilled a hole into the man's skull to relieve pressure on his brain, and that's ignoring his broken ribs, his broken legs, and his broken arms. His poor girlfriend, and tragically there was talk of marriage between the two of them, she, I'm afraid, didn't make it. Powell still suffers from amnesia to this day. That's all in this book, and there's more of that where that came from. Next up, also from Omnibus, is Any More for Any More, the Ronnie Lane story by Caroline and David Stafford. This is a £20 book spanning 312 pages, and this one professes lots of research plus interviews with family and friends, and it covers the man's life and career as the title suggests. Again, lots of insights into this one, such as the making of the later album in Ronnie's career, Rough Mix, made with Who man Pete Townsend, and guesting all kinds of well-known people, including Eric Clapton. This was the album when Lane was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Even so, Lane could be feisty and had regular arguments with Townsend on everything from politics to philosophy. Guest star on the album, Eric Clapton, well, he spent half of his time keeping the two apart. It's interesting stuff. Vinyl now, well, a trio of vinyl from BMG, and I have 3 album reissues from the hard rock 5-piece band Thunder, who formed in the late 80s. Now, these albums here include 1996, The Thrill of It All, which was part of a rise and fall cycle for the band. This was album number 4, and that saw the band on the upsurge from a low point, you might say. Next is Giving the Game Away, and this was album number 5, released from Thunder in 1999, and it provided slower tempo ditties, you might say. Now, despite the solid songwriting, this album sounded a little lost, you might say, and the band itself would split 2 years later. Finally, we have Shooting at the Sun from 2003, and that saw the band back again. Well, it's always on the cards, isn't it, with bands? They can't stay away for too long, unless you're the Smiths. And also, you gotta say, the guys were fed up at home, putting up yet another bookshelf. This one is a kind of a back-to-form outing, which will please the fans. Next, we have Shelly Manne and His Friends, and this is a reissue from 1956 on the Craft label, entitled, and it's a bit of a wordy one, this, folks, Modern Jazz Performances of Songs from My Fair Lady. Like I say, that is quite a title. It includes Andre Previn and Leroy Vinnegar, who's on bass, I think. This is an absolute corker, a stone-cold classic. Jazz fans, buy. Next we have Fleetwood Mac and Rumours Live, a double album from Warner Records. It focuses on a concert at the Forum on the 29th of August 1977, spanning around, I don't know, an hour and a half of music. It includes Rumours, yes, but also the band's 1975 self-titled album. There's lots of material here released for the very first time, at least officially. And as you might expect, you can buy this one on CD as well, if you fancy. Oh, And for audiophiles out there, take note that Bernie Grundman sorted the mastering for this one, so expect great things. Oh, and I believe there's a limited clear vinyl edition knocking about, but you might have to track that one down. Next up is jazz vocalist Ian Shaw. Now, Shaw is one of the good guys. He has a great voice, doesn't get the kudos he deserves, and yet, sure, he looks like the guy who runs the local corner paper shop. But check out this new album anyway. It's called Greek Street Friday on the Silent Wish label. And I normally hear Shaw singing tracks from the Great American Songbook, which he does very well. The songs here are largely co-written between himself and Jamie Saphir. And I would say there's a measure of soul in this one mixed in with the jazz. And next we have Laura Misch, and this is Sample the Sky. My copy arrived on recycled white and blue vinyl, a limited edition from the label One Little Independent. This is low-key, lo-fi, introspective, singer-songwriter fare. Space takes as much of a role as the music, and the songs, well, they're in no rush. They hang around to smell the roses. And finally, this is from the same label, but a rather more serious production. This is from a lady named Galya Bidengalieva, and I apologize if I've mispronounced your name. And the album is called Polygon. Now, Galya is a Kazakh-British violinist and leader of the London Contemporary Orchestra, based in London. And this, well, this is an instrumental, experimental electronica album with treated organic instruments. At least that's what it sounds like. And it tells the sorry tale of Soviet nuclear testing experiments in Galya's country. There were a total of 456 nuclear tests in an area in Kazakhstan. The area was called Polygon. And that has resulted in more fallout falling on this lady's home country than has ever been produced by Chernobyl. Did we get to hear about this? Of course we didn't. Anyway, so expect real musical darkness on this dusk-coloured vinyl disc. And that's your lot. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. I'll be back next week with some more. I know I'll have some CDs. I'll probably have some vinyl, so maybe a CD vinyl thing next time around. Now, before you go, downstairs, if you can click on the like and subscribe buttons, that will help this channel a lot. Further down, I'll put some links to some of the people you've seen in this video if you want to learn more, so I'll do that. Also, there are links to my website, my Facebook group, and my Patreon page, where if you fancy watching hi-fi news, etc. videos, there's a whole heap of them. Link down there. There's a whole heap of them on my Patreon page, and all kinds of other stuff like hi-fi room tours and music text features and buyer's guides and all kinds of stuff. So check out the Patreon page. I'll be back on Sunday with something hi-fi related, a review, and I hope to have your company then. So until then, folks, bye-bye for now.